Welcome, all of my corporate professionals. Are you one of those people that never ever seems to speak up at a work meeting? Whether it's because you have really bad social anxiety, or you're just too shy, you don't want to be noticed, or you're afraid you're going to say the wrong thing and that people are going to look at you like, If any of that is something that you're struggling with, then you're in the right place. I'm going to be showing you how to speak at work meetings and why they're important. Okay, so we all know that team meetings are pretty much inevitable for whatever organization you decide to work for, right? It's key in making sure everyone understands where the company is going in terms of, their forward focus, or for other departments or teams to make sure that they're all on board with what they're doing for various reasons. So meetings are essential for any business. And I know sometimes with the number of meetings you go for, sometimes it just becomes a bit unnecessary for you sometimes. And a lot of people just get to the meeting and kind of just sink into the background and let all of the senior employees or the experts in the field talk, and they kind of just sit back and listen. But why is it important that you share your views and opinions at a meeting? So, by sharing your views and opinions at a meeting, what you're actually doing is providing value, which organizations love for their employees to do. That's what helps their organization to grow. So, the more that you speak up in meetings and you engage, everyone's going to see that you're adding value. And that's very important in making you stand out as not just being an ordinary employee that's just here to do your job, but you're actually invested in the organization and you care about the company and you want to move it forward, and that is very attractive to a lot of employers. Now, before I get into the tips on how to speak up at meetings, it's first important to identify the issues that prevent people from being able to speak up at meetings in order to avoid that. Now, I know I spoke about some of the reasons in the beginning of the video, but I'm going to explain these issues in a bit more depth. So, one of the most common reasons is that you don't feel knowledgeable enough. This can tend to happen when you're intimidated by hierarchy. So, what I mean by this is you might be more intimidated by the more senior employees within the organization, or let's say experts in particular departments. And because you think that they are a lot more knowledgeable than you, it makes you lose confidence in your ability to offer your own suggestions, because you feel as though those suggestions will be looked as not being that relevant or not beneficial to the topic. And that's one of the reasons why you might prevent your own self from offering your suggestions. The second most common reason is social anxiety. This happens when you spend ages trying to psych yourself up to finally say something, but you spend so long doing that you overthink the situation and you talk yourself out of even, raising your hand to even make a suggestion. This is social anxiety, and this can happen for a number of reasons. Sometimes you're scared that you might talk, you might stutter on your words. What if you say the wrong thing and everyone's looking at you? Just the idea of being noticed by everyone, all of that can affect you even saying something, even when you have really great suggestions to offer. And last but not least, the last reason is social cues. Now, I know that might sound like a bit of an odd reason, but it does affect many people. And the reason being is you have the fear that you might speak at the wrong time while someone else is just about to speak, and you end up over speaking the person and sounding rude, or someone cuts you off and it becomes a major embarrassment. And these situations are something that just makes people not even want to raise their hand or say anything at a meeting in the first place. So these are the most three common reasons that prevent people from speaking up at meetings. So now, how do we avoid that in order for you to have the confidence to speak up at meetings and be noticed for your value as an employee? Now, before I go any further, confidence is not just needed at team meetings alone. It's needed for many aspects of your career journey. If you're one of those people that find that you're struggling with confidence at job interviews and you want to land your next big career break, then follow the link below to watch my interview confidence webinar that is helping many corporate professionals to land the jobs that they want. So the first tip that will give you immense confidence to be able to speak up at meetings is to plan before the meeting. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, how am I going to plan for the meeting before the meeting's even started? There is a way. So what I mean by this is usually before a meeting starts, usually communication goes out via email about the agenda for the meeting. So what you want to do is use that agenda in order to base what kind of suggestions, opinions that you're going to bring forth at the meeting, and also use that agenda to familiarize yourself with the topic. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to give you the confidence to be able to speak up at meetings, because now you have knowledge on the topic and you're not going to feel intimidated by hierarchy or anything else, because you know that you know enough to be able to offer your own suggestions. The next tip is to make sure that you're actively listening. I say this because usually the best meeting contributors are also the best listeners as well. The reason why active listening is important for speaking up at meetings is by actively listening, you're actually engaged and you're following where the topic is going, which helps you to speak at the right times. But not also that, it also makes sure that your suggestions are well thought out and are quality suggestions that you bring forward, and they're not going to be off topic or completely irrelevant. So active listening is very, very essential for speaking up at meetings. The third tip, which is probably one of the most crucial, is to ease your way into it. So what do I mean by this? Well, in the beginning, you might find that you don't have any suggestions to bring forth. So how do you contribute to a work meeting when you don't have any suggestions or opinions? Well, there are other ways around this that are equally as valuable as offering suggestions. One of the first and probably most powerful ones is to ask questions. Asking questions helps you to get more knowledge on the topic, as well as helping you become more noticeable. So that is a great way to, ease your way into contributing to meetings. Another way is to lead on from what somebody else has said. Maybe someone else has made a statement and you have something to add on. That's a great way to ease your way in without, feeling like, oh, I've come up with a suggestion all by myself. If someone's already made a suggestion and you just follow on from that, that's also contributing. And you can start from that point, and that will help boost up your confidence. And the third tip is to just agree with somebody. Maybe someone made a point that you thought was a good point. Just acknowledge and just say that, I agree with what you say on this topic, or praise someone for a suggestion that they've made. Any of these strategies is going to make you get noticed, as it's showing that you're engaged, you're invested in the topic, where the company's going, and upper management will start to notice you the more that you start contributing to these meetings in whichever way you like. The fourth tip is to commit quickly, and I mean really quickly. This tip is for all of my people out there that suffer with social anxiety. This tip will literally save your life. I say this because a lot of the time, if you suffer with social anxiety and let's say you want to say something at a meeting, you wait so long just trying to talk yourself into when I'm going to say this suggestion that you end up talking yourself out of it, because the longer you wait, the easier it is for the fear to crop in, and then you end up not even saying it, or you wait so long that the topic has now gone, and let's say they've moved on to another topic area, and now it wouldn't even make sense you offering your suggestion. So as soon as the suggestion comes in your head and there's a right time, just say it. Do not wait too long, because you will end up talking yourself out of it, or you will say it when the topic's already gone. The fifth and final tip is knowing how to handle being cut off. Being cut off is a major fear for many people for speaking up at meetings, because there's that fear of embarrassment. You're in the middle of talking and someone else just completely cuts you off and starts their own conversation. And sometimes we just be quiet and just blend back into the background just to be unnoticed again. But that's not the way to handle it. You should let somebody know that you need to finish what you're saying before they speak. Now, you can do this in a way that does not offend anyone, which I'll explain. First of all, don't take it personally when somebody cuts you off. They don't mean it out of malice. A lot of the time, they just got a really great point that they just want to get across, and they're not aware that they've just cut somebody off. So never ever take it personally. And then secondly, just simply say, oh, let me just finish my point really quickly before you get onto your point. That's not rude. That's not rude at all. Okay, so don't ever feel like you can't let somebody know that you want to finish your point before they start. But don't ever just be quiet and just blend into the background, because that will debilitate you and make you not want to speak up at meetings again. We don't want that to happen. Okay, so that brings me to the end of this video on how to speak up at team meetings. I hope you found that helpful. Let me know below which tips you'll be taking from this. And if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel for videos on everything job related, as well as how to land your dream job. Also, if you're job searching at the moment and you find that you're struggling with the job interviews and you're facing constant rejection, please watch my free interview confidence webinar below in order to be able to land your next job role. Take care.